Hey guys, Matt Probonic here of iRock Fitness and Fitness U with Amie Hornaman. I wanted to introduce her today. We're going to be talking about intermittent fasting, the benefits of intermittent fasting. Some experiences we've had lately have made us really confident that intermittent fasting can be something that's beneficial for you. So I want to introduce Amie Hornaman is a nutritional and functional medicine specialist. She's certified nutritionist and has been practicing for 23 years.
Yes.
So you've seen it all. You've seen the fads, you've seen the tricks. With part of Amie's services, you get 24/7 access to Amie for education and support. She specializes in thyroid and hormone conditions. She has a no excuse attitude towards service, and she is guiding cancer patients back to wellness. So Amie, thank you and welcome.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so excited to break into this thing because stick around for this video. At the end, we're going to be talking about how you, and we mean you, can start taking advantage of the benefits of intermittent fasting for weight loss results, extreme weight loss results, fat you've been wanting to get rid of for years by just practicing some of these simple tools. And we're going to give you some clarity about it on this segment. We're going to give you some confidence and some power because I feel like a lot of our members have had the hardest time getting into this system because they're really afraid of feeling tired, feeling hungry. And that just tells me that many people out there just need the facts. So Amie, I want you to take this opportunity to tell everyone a little bit more about yourself, and then we're going to get into talking about what intermittent fasting really is. Just give us a little bit of insight about where you're coming from and what has driven you to start taking on this piece of information to help people.
Right. So my story goes all the way back to competing in bodybuilding and fitness shows, competing in powerlifting, and through all of that yo-yo dieting, eating 6 times a day, I actually developed a thyroid problem. I developed insulin resistance, and it kind of screwed my body up. So that really drove me to find answers and to be able to help other people that I knew were struggling with the same thing. So my body did put on weight. I had to figure out the best way to take it off. And intermittent fasting is kind of a newer thing. We're going to get into the details of it for sure, so don't be scared of the term. But that, along with proper hormone balancing, a new way of eating, really helped me gain control of my weight and my body. So that just drove me to specialize in this and help other clients, patients of mine just achieve the same thing and just feel great.
What an awesome motivation. And, I think that what it really comes down to is our members and your customers and people we know, friends we have and family. I don't think we could think of anybody who isn't being affected with, insignificant hormone function right now,
right.
disease, illness, bad immune function, lack of energy daily, grogginess, forgetfulness, bad sleep, bad waking up, lack of enthusiasm, depression.
Yes.
And what we're finding out more and more, in Erie, we have 10,000 members. And we have people we work very closely with, and we hear it every single day. And frankly, months ago, I got sick of it. And that's about around the time when we started working with you. We've done a couple of seminars, and that's why we want to share this information with you now today. Most likely you're seeing this shot because you downloaded one of our passes or you checked out Amie's website and you're interested in intermittent fasting. So we're going to cut right into it and stick around. Coming up towards the end of this, we're going to be talking about how you can lose fat right away. We want to go over, tell everybody what intermittent fasting really is.
Right. So when people hear that term, intermittent fasting, everybody goes deer in the headlights. They start to freak out because they hear the term fast and they think, how am I not going to eat? Right? So I want you to think about it in terms of time-restricted eating, just shortening that window that you're actually consuming food. If we're not eating, we're fasting. So if we go back, all the way back to the 50s, we used to eat 3 times a day, and people would technically fast in between meals.
Now, why were people, the big heart disease craze and everything, like, we think that people in the 50s weren't healthier than we are now. What was causing the people in the 50s to really get, like, heart disease, heart attacks, with the big running craze that came on in the 60s and 70s? What were we doing differently then that we're not doing now, but they were doing right then as well?
That's a great question. That could be an entire seminar in and of itself too. But if we look into 1977, that's when the American Heart Association told us to eat more carbohydrates and eat more sugars. That's really when we saw an increase in heart disease, obesity, and sugar consumption. So if we want to examine the people of the 50s, they were healthy. They were eating 3 times a day, and they could get away with eating the bread and the fried foods that mom was making because they weren't feeding their face every couple of hours.
Right.
And we'll get into the mechanism of what the body does every time we eat too. But for now, intermittent fasting, I want you to think of it as time-restricted eating. So when I ask patients, what time do you stop eating at night? What time do you stop eating at night, Matt?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Okay, when's your first meal of the day?
Well, now it's noon.
Now it is,
Yeah,
right? Because
but
you started incorporating intermittent fasting.
Right. It used to be first thing in the morning, ever since I was a kid. I would have a good cereal, oatmeal. I would do, eggs. I started cutting it down because as I got older, I started feeling really kind of run down in the morning after, and I would do cream and sugar in my coffee every single morning. So that was my trend.
Okay, so even if you did that at 8 a.m., you still got in a 12-hour fast. And that is a great place for people to start. And most people don't even realize that they're already
I was
fasting.
actually eating like handfuls of trail mix before bed,
Before-
while laying in bed, and then eating first thing in the morning. So I was getting 7 hours.
Maybe a 7-hour fast, right?
Yeah.
But
and I wondered why I felt like low energy.
right,
And I'm a healthy person.
yes,
You know?
absolutely. So when you think about that, what time do you stop eating at night? What time do you start eating in the morning? That's your starting point right there. So if you are 7 hours, okay, we need to push that a little bit more. Maybe we need to start you at 12 hours. If you're already doing 12 hours, then maybe we go 14 or 16 hours to extend that time that you're not eating.
So what happens now that we've got like the hours down? Pretty much, folks, like intermittent fasting, you can start with levels like 12 hours, 14 hours,
Right.
16 hours. And some folks go to 20 and then they try to do a full 24-hour fast. And that's something that you can always reach out and contact Amie about. But today we want to go through the basics, really on a cellular level. Like if you look deep into the cellular function of your body and repair mechanisms and all that good stuff, what happens when you do, say, a 14-hour period, a 14-hour fast, 10 o'clock at night to 12 o'clock the next day, cellularly, what is going on that's beneficial for us?
So there are two great things at a cellular level that happen. The first one is called autophagy, and that's really where it's your body's spring cleaning. It's where your body actually starts to eat away dead cells, eat away protein.
And do we need that like every day? Is that spring?
Ultimately, yes.
Wow, okay.
Because you can achieve autophagy through an extended fast, but most people don't want to jump into a 3 to 5 day fast. So you can still get the benefits of autophagy with intermittent fasting, with that 14 to 16 hour fast. Now you do have to crest, well, studies are conflicting with this, but you do have to crest that 12-hour mark in order to get the benefits of autophagy.
So you gotta pass the 12, and I think what everyone's thinking of right now is like, okay, cellular level, okay, I've got this thing down, I'm a habitual person. What about artificial sweeteners in this first part? Does that mess up the cellular?
That will break us fast.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's so many bad things.
What if I
about it,
drink like a beer at 10
right?
and then go 14 hours?
Yeah, that's still food, though.
Does that mess up this? Does the toxin of alcohol mess up the cellular benefits that I'm getting from my fast?
Well, yes and no. So let's say you're incorporating intermittent fasting on a daily basis. Are we going to tell you to avoid beer completely? No, you have to live life, and you're still getting those benefits daily. So that will compound upon itself, and you'll get extended benefits. But the biggest takeaway with autophagy is this is where we're seeing studies done in cancer prevention. So with that autophagy happening, where your body is actually eating away the dead cell, this is where we're seeing a reduction in tumor size and complete cancer prevention when it's done extended.
So your body's actually getting rid of bad cells just from regular intermittent fasting.
Right. And then the second piece to that is the insulin response. So at a cellular level, we see insulin go down. And you might be saying, well, I'm not type 2 diabetic. Why do I care about insulin? Many of my patients come in and they are insulin resistant without having been diagnosed with insulin resistance. So we look at their glucose levels fasting, and anything above an 86 indicates insulin resistance. So that really means that your body is pumping out insulin every single time that you eat. Through intermittent fasting, we can bring down that insulin level. So whether it's just someone looking to lose weight or you are a type 2 diabetic, we can start healing at a cell level.
Wow.
By bringing down that insulin.
That's incredible. Yeah, so I mean, if you feel like your health is slowly declining, like you're not getting healthier, but you're just like you're wearing out.
Yes.
it could be a big part of how often and what you're eating. We know a lot of people who eat very often and very healthy, but from the sounds of it, if you're doing that day in and day out, it could be actually wearing you out if you're eating just too much of a good thing. And stick around because we're gonna be talking about body fat reduction, but right now we're working from the inside out. But hormonally, I know that has a lot to do with cells. It has a lot to do with blood sugar. It can throw your hormones off. I'm talking about, vigor. I'm talking about like sex drive. I'm talking about like muscle gain, body fat reduction, just, having it all come together, like hormones, like building muscle and losing fat. What does this do on a hormonal level right away?
Great.
And how long do we have to wait?
Great question. Excellent question. So many people are scared to work out in a fasted state. The biggest hormone besides insulin that you get a benefit from through intermittent fasting is growth hormone.
So you're saying it's actually okay to work out when you're in a fast?
Absolutely. And we're doing this now with athletes. We're fasting them for 24 hours. When you fast, you get a huge surge of noradrenaline and growth hormone.
Whoa.
So if you fast and then go into a workout, you're actually going in pumped up, excited. You have that adrenaline flowing and high growth hormone levels. You are set up for not only a great workout, but great fat burning and muscle building.
So you're saying if anyone's ever experienced this, like pre-workouts that have a lot of sugar, a lot of caffeine, that could actually make your workout worse.
It diminishes growth hormone. So when insulin is high, growth hormone is low. When insulin is low through intermittent fasting, growth hormone is high.
Whoa. Okay.
So we're actually suppressing growth hormone by downing sugary pre-workout drinks before a workout.
So this is completely changing the game. Like basically this concept is going against everything, especially that my generation has been. I used to read Men's Fitness, Muscle, Flex, and it was always about taking this new product before a workout.
Yeah.
And I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not a professional athlete, but I will say this, I've been doing the intermittent fasting for 3 months, and I do my workout now at 11:30 in the morning or 11 before I eat. And I feel so good during my workout. How I would perform in a hour and a half long football game or soccer game, I think we're speaking right now towards regular people with day jobs looking to get a workout in, looking to achieve great health and great figure.
Right.
So that's good to keep in mind. And then like on the metabolism, I used to tell my clients years ago and up till just a little while ago that if you go too long without eating, your body goes into starvation mode and you release a lot of stress hormones and you actually store fat on your. How long does it take to be in a starvation mode to where your body will actually start releasing stress hormones that cause you to keep visceral fat?
Oh, that's such a great question too, because this is where I stress intermittent fasting is a personal thing. You have to listen to your body on a daily basis. So let's say you wake up and you are starving at 7 a.m. That may not be a day to intermittent fast because that will actually produce more stress hormone cortisol than it would if you just ate. So some days you have to listen to your body and just eat and not intermittent fast that day. But for the most part, when we see a reduction in insulin and a reduction in blood glucose or blood sugar, we also see lowered cortisol levels. So we get a little bit of a bump in cortisol after a workout, and that's okay. That's a normal increase. But overall, intermittent fasting helps keep those stress hormones down, which is a beautiful thing.
So keep watching this because we're going to be talking about what this means for body fat reduction. And also, one last thing I want to talk about on the segment today is going to be, what should be the last thing that we eat before our fast and what should be the first thing we eat when we get out of our fast? Because, and I want to talk about that at the end, because what I really want to get into right now is a lot of people who are watching this own companies, work for companies, have a very important job to do, hate to forget things, is brain function, clarity. How does this benefit clarity, and why does sugar affect our brain function in the wrong quantities? So
your brain clarity, focus, concentration absolutely increases with intermittent fasting. In fact, the people in Silicon Valley incorporate intermittent fasting on a regular daily basis. I've heard a lot
of CEOs actually go.
Absolutely.
A lot of the top CEOs in America or worldwide, perhaps, probably, they they actually only eat one meal a day, or they do practice daily intermittent fasting.
Yes.
And that was really interesting for me to find out. I wish I was better at remembering names,
Right.
but I'm not. But I'm sure you could easily research that right now to find out what top-ranking CEOs practice intermittent fasting. I think a common searches are what CEOs in America swear by alcohol, what CEOs in America swear by marijuana. Like, we're always looking for something to give us an edge.
Yeah.
But why not actually use what we have right now? And you could be screwing up your edge with how you're feeding yourself. You'd be surprised how much calories you don't need, how much food you don't need, how much sugar is screwing you up. So that's really, really cool. And what does your brain do when you're in a fast? Like, what happens to your brain, so people can maybe identify a little bit about what they should be expecting the first day on this thing, guys. Like, the first day on this, you can get the benefits of intermittent fasting the very first day. You don't have to wait until day 10. You can get it the day of. So what happens up here?
Up here. So the biggest thing, even if you are not on a ketogenic diet, when you are burning body fat, your own body fat for fuel, you are producing ketones. So you can produce ketones during an intermittent fast without being actually on a ketogenic diet. Those ketones fuel the brain. They are the preferred fuel source for the brain, not glucose. We've thought glucose for so long. And yes, when we feed our body a ton of carbohydrates, we switch back to a glucose mode. So then we're feeding our brains with glucose.
The byproduct of this thing actually fuels brain function?
Yes, absolutely. So ketones fuel brain function.
So then is it bad to actually be on an intermittent fast program and be a really thin person? Like, how do you get ketones from, if you don't have fat to burn and stuff?
Right.
Like, where do the ketones come from? Or do we need to change the way we're eating during the day so we can keep this cycle going?
Well, both, actually. So it would be great if someone who is really thin and athletic and in shape, and they wanted to intermittent fast for maybe the cancer prevention or the autophagy side of things. It would still be great if they switched over to a slightly ketogenic diet, maybe a higher carb ketogenic, but just taking out the sugars, like you said, because sugar just clogs the brain.
So we're talking about processed sugar.
Yes.
We're talking about processed foods. We're talking about cookies, crackers, cakes, sugar, white sugar.
Right.
But we're not really talking about too much, like you're talking about ketogenic. We're talking about more like beans and lentils and more natural occurring.
And sweet potatoes and all that. And you can still do ketogenic
Mm-hmm.
on higher carbs if you're thin, but they're still getting, a thinner person is still getting that growth hormone release. So they're going to be able to actually put on muscle easier now by incorporating in the intermittent fasting.
Okay, so this is good for people who are super, super fit, and it's also important for people who might have a fitness weight loss goal and want to get super healthy, and you can just keep it going. That's what's great about this. This is a lifestyle that I feel that human beings were actually designed to eat this way, and for a good solid chunk of years here, we have been eating really, really more and more less appropriate for what our bodies are set up to handle.
Exactly. We've shifted away from what we were built to be.
And that's hurting our brain. We don't have good brain fuel. Our brains aren't good on sugar. We get sluggish, we get drowsy. So think about this for yourself. If this is you, make sure to first, you can reach out to Amie, definitely. And then you can also get involved at a fitness club locally and start inheriting the methods of intermittent fasting that are going on right now. And you do not need to link up with a nutritionist to just get on the principles.
Right.
You can check out YouTube videos, you can go online, you can check stuff out like that. But if you want to get in depth with it, we know a lot about it here at iRock Fitness.
Absolutely.
And you know a lot about it. You're right here in Erie and Epco Park.
Yep.
So that's going to be a good thing to go off of. So a little bit about the research. How's this backed up? How trusted is it? What's going on right now in the community of the respected, professionals that we can depend that this is going to be a good thing?
Right. So the research is out there. The intermittent fasting is based in science. So there is a brilliant doctor, Dr. Jason Fung, and you can find a lot on him in intermittent fasting. But he was really one of the first ones to incorporate this therapeutically.
How long ago did he start incorporating it?
That is a good question. I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
Is when
so this is quite new.
And he has a clinic in Toronto where he only works with insulin-dependent type 2 diabetics. And within 3 to 4 weeks of intermittent fasting them, they're off their insulin. Anecdotally, I have a rock star patient who called me as soon as he left the hospital. He checked himself into the hospital with a glucose level of 500. They said, you are type 2 diabetic. Here's some insulin. insulin, you're insulin dependent. Within 6 weeks of intermittent fasting and lowering his carbohydrate intake, off insulin.
Man, that's absolutely incredible to think this is like a life changer for people.
It is.
And who wants to be on insulin, right? I mean, it's such a pain, and you don't feel good ever, and it's really hard on your organs.
It's very hard. And the fastest way to age, keep your insulin high.
Okay.
Whether you're taking it as a type 2 diabetic or whether you are eating multiple times a day, pumping out that insulin, fastest way to age.
Fastest way to age. And I have heard that it can cause like a lot of stress and strain to like your liver, kidneys, pancreas, just too much sugar. It really burns your organs out.
It does.
And then you have leaky gut, and then you've got antibiotics, and you've got all this stuff. So when you start doing something like this, and you make a big change, and you get the confidence to go with the courage. And right now, like the call to action really is, we want you to be courageous and do this. Take a 3-day challenge, do a 12 to 14 hour fast for 3 days. And we want to promise you that you're going to feel more clear. You're going to have you're going to feel like you have control over your nutrition. You're going to be more mindful of your nutrition because you're investing in your fast. And I feel like eating right is a lot like sinning or not sinning. Eating is a lot like sinning. And I was saying is like, when we sin, we know that it's wrong.
Right. Okay.
When we eat wrong, we know that it's wrong.
We do.
Right? When we eat right, we know that it's right. I mean, we get it. So I think we all inherently know what's right and what's wrong.
That's true.
So as adults, it's our opportunity to take kind of like a reason to start really practicing all of the knowledge we have up here and putting it into practice. And this could be your moment. So we're at the point now where we can talk about getting fat loss from intermittent fasting. First of all, what is the best 1 month success that you've ever seen from somebody doing like starting a 14-hour intermittent fast? What's the best success you've seen one person have in like 30 days? Just
so
general.
Easily, and the biggest success comes in those people that can't lose weight no matter how hard they try. You know, they're in here, they're working out, they think they're eating great, and it's just not budging. Nothing is budging, right? All their hormones
We've had
are
that
fine.
happen so many times here.
So many times, it's so common.
I mean, they're getting stronger. The measurements are going up because their muscles are getting like stronger, but they're not losing
the
fat.
fat's not coming off, right?
And a year ago, we started getting upset, really, because we knew our working out works.
It does.
Okay, working out works. Yeah. Your body works. There's something going on that is happening with what's coming in that's preventing your body from actually using fat as energy, right?
Right,
okay.
Absolutely.
And that's how you got to lose weight. Your body has to actually use fat as energy.
Yes.
So what was the best one that you had?
I would say 30 pounds in 30 days.
30 pounds in 30 days.
Yep.
Now, a lot of popular beliefs would say that that's not really great for your body to lose that much weight in 30 days.
Well, when you have it to lose,
okay,
then you can tap into your own fat.
Let's say somebody yo-yos and they go up 30 pounds every year and they lose 30 pounds every year. That's got to be bad for you, right?
That's bad.
Okay,
that's
so
bad.
it's bad for like your gallbladder or your liver.
It's bad for all your organs.
Okay.
All of your organs, and when you do that yo-yo, it can also pound your thyroid. So then you get a decrease in metabolism because your thyroid levels drop. Now it's even harder to keep the weight off. So now you're in a yo-yo cycle even more.
So 30 pounds in 30 days. And was there a deeply specified nutrition program for this person, or was it just general?
Well, now this particular person was eating a little bit cleaner, and that's really where we started incorporating the intermittent fasting because she wasn't losing on something that people should be losing on, and she was doing everything right. And we ruled out hormone issues, we ruled out thyroid issues by just shortening that eating window. Don't eat less often. That's how her body was actually able to tap into her own fat stores. If you're not burning fat, you're storing. The body can only do one of two things. So if you're not burning fat, you're storing fat. If we're eating all the time, every couple hours, you're in that high insulin fat storage mode. You can never enter that fat burning mode.
Wow. It's so profound because I think there's a lot of people who feel like, okay, well, I haven't gained weight, so if I start losing more calories, I'm going to start losing weight, which in theory kind of like makes sense, but if you're really eating too regularly and you're eating too much of an energy-giving food source, you're really not going to lose weight.
You're not.
So what we need to look at doing is I think we should start with letting everybody know what should your last eating like so let's
look
say we
like?
stop eating at 9 p.m. because I
Right.
go to bed at 11. Okay, so I'm going to stop eating at 9, and then I'm going to start eating again at 11 the next day. Can I eat at 9, and what should that be? And then what should I have at 11?
Okay, so you can totally eat at 9. Here's the thing. If you eat, let's say, pizza and a beer at 9, we're going to go back to this insulin thing. You're going to have high insulin levels through the night. So you're going to still be on that high insulin, high blood sugar roller coaster through the night. Whereas if you were to eat, let's say, an avocado and some ground beef or a piece of chicken, then your blood sugar stays more stable, your insulin levels stay low, and you really get the benefit of that intermittent fast.
You become like a fat burning machine
You
while
do
you sleep.
through the night, because there's your fast. You're fasting through the night. Breakfast is really break fast. It's when we break our fast. Now, it doesn't have to be at 7 a.m. Breakfast can be at 11 a.m. That's just when we break the fast. And you asked, what should we eat when we break the fast? Well, that really should be good carbohydrates, moderate protein, good fats.
Is this a good time of the day? Like on a cellular level, what are our cells like? Like a lot of people would say, like, I don't know if I'm absorbing my vitamins and minerals, or I want the best time of the day to take. Is this a good time of the day to take like a small breakfast and then like actually have vitamins and your oils and everything all at once? Is this a good opportunity for your body for absorption?
That would be great, yes, because your digestion got a break through the night. So when we fast, our pancreas gets a break from pumping out insulin, digestion gets a break from digesting our food, everything gets a chance to rest. So then when you add in really good nutrients, it's more absorbed, provided you don't have leaky gut and a lot of GI issues, of course, but this will help heal that as well. Healing does take place during intermittent fasting.
And I mean, science has shown that our bodies are capable of regeneration, like our organs, our stomach lining, our intestinal lining, our liver, kidneys, things that we used to, years ago, they thought that, brain cells, you couldn't regain brain cell activity, and you can, but if you keep consuming calories the way you have been doing it every single day for your whole life, and I have a 3.5-year-old daughter, she has sugar from sun up to sundown. And I'm excited for her to become older so we can start eating real food regularly and she can be healthier. So like the thing is like I feel like a lot of people have just been in that predicament where they've just been eating and eating and eating. Your body has not had a break in 30 years, 20 years.
Right, exactly. And along those
15
lines,
years.
when you first start intermittent fasting, think about if you first exercised for the first time after 30 years. It's going to suck. It just is. But you wouldn't give up. So just because you go exercise for the first time and you get a little bit sore, you don't say, hey, this guy gave me bad advice. He told me to exercise. It's horrible. I'm done. So intermittent fasting is going to be really hard the first time, especially if you consume a lot of carbs and sugar. You kind of have to push through it. It's like jumping in a pool. You can do it slowly and tiptoe your way in and ease your way in, or you can just go for it and jump in and know you're going to get a shock in the beginning, but it's going to be really nice after you do it for a while.
Yeah, I started with 12 hours my first day, and then I'm like, I'm just going to go to 14 because I wanted the psychological benefit of it. So this has been so great. And really the reason why we've done this segment is because we want to help you. And I've spent many, many years in this industry, 23 years, over 15 years with clients who were not getting results, who were not losing weight. And I got absolutely sick of it for them and for myself. I got tired of feeling like junk 5 out of 7 days. And I knew that it had to be nutritional. And it was things I was overlooking, like cream and sugar in my coffee, breakfasts, eating too close together. So I know this is you. This is so many people. If you guys have more questions about it, visit our website. We're gonna have a link for Amie Hornaman's nutrition services. And I hope this has been beneficial. If you want a really great workout, make sure to get down to iRock Fitness, take our 21-day challenge. We're gonna bring you up to speed on intermittent fasting, measurements, all the works, and you can ask us any questions when you get down here. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, and Amie, thank you so much. I hope we can change Erie with this and beyond, because I think people are just starting to talk about it, and we're going to do a lot to help you out. So guys, thank you so much for watching the whole clip. We'll see you next time.